Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I finally have my ring light in here and I'm super excited to be filming this video. I actually need to get another ring light to have more lighting in here because now I am back into my makeup room. And I told you guys that I was filming for a little while in my office because the lighting in there is so much better. But now that I have my ring light, it is a little bit better. So I'm going to try to give you guys the tutorial that multiple people have been asking me for. So please tell me I'm not the only one that puts my hair up in a hot mess away from my face before I do my makeup, because that is a must for me. Like, I cannot work with this hair all around down my face. So I am taking my No Problem primer right now on my face, and I am just going to buff this into my skin. For those of you curious, before we start out, I have promised a couple people that I would do a makeup look that is simple and easy and something that I do when I travel. So this is not a super glam, this is not an all-out makeup tutorial. This is just what I do on days that I want to look halfway put together, a little bit presentable. So you could do this for a day that you just want to kind of get up in the morning, get yourself put together. If you have a couple errands to run, you got to take the kids to school, or you're in school and you just want a simple makeup look yourself. This is what I do as I am traveling. I have to get up very early on the days that I'm away for conferences, and I don't have that much time to get ready. So what you guys are going to see here is what I do to just zip through my makeup, get everything put on, make myself look more put together than just obviously getting out of bed. But this is not extensive. This is very easy. I'm just showing you guys what I do when I have to get ready in a rush. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I just primed my skin with the No Problem primer. I love this primer. I take it with me when I travel. So I just primed my skin with that, and we're going to move on to foundation. The foundations that I'm using today is the Infallible Pro Matte from L'Oreal and the Infallible Pro Glow from L'Oreal as well. What I like to do is, as I explained in one of my other videos, I like to take the two of these and just mix the two of them together on my hand just to make a little foundation cocktail. This foundation is so great for those of us that need a little bit of dew but also need a little bit of matte. So I like to swirl these together on the back of my hand, so I make a little concoction like that. And I'm going to pick up my mirror over here so that I can see. I just take that and just dab it onto my skin. Just really get it into all the places that I need. This is obviously not going to be a completely full coverage kind of foundation. I mean, you can build this up to be a very full coverage foundation, but for me right now, I am just blending that into the skin. And you can use a damp beauty blender if you prefer. I love this foundation brush. It's actually called Love is the Foundation by It Cosmetics, and it looks like this. I'm obsessed with this brush because it covers a lot of area, so when you're in a hurry, this brush will be your best friend. It covers a lot of ground. It really gets in there and all those hard to reach places, like in between the eyes and up next to the nose. It really just gets everything covered very quickly, which if you never give yourself enough time like me, that's always what I'm looking for, honey. Then I still have a little bit left on my hand, so I will take that put it on my brush, and then I will just bring it down the neck a little. If you're self-tanning or if you're a little bit more fair on your face, you already know that you want your face to match your neck, of course. Once we make sure that is all nice and blended out, I am going to go in with concealer. And the concealer that I always take with me is my tried and true Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. I love this. I've already told you guys that I love this one. It comes with me everywhere I go. It is incredible to really help cover up those dark eye bags. So I put a little bit up here before I drag it out. And then the same for this side. A little on the forehead. I bring it down my nose, on my chin, and a little in this area. What I typically use is my Beauty Blender, just because I find that it really helps to get the concealer really pressed down into your skin. I do often use a Beauty Blender for my foundation as well. I just decided to use the brush today because, again, this is supposed to be kind of my makeup go-to when I'm in a hurry and when I don't have a lot of time to spend. So we're going to use this to make sure that we really get in to all of those fine lines that we want to conceal. I bring it up onto my eyelids as well, because on days like today, I do not put on any eyeshadow. So I really want to make sure that all of that darkness on my eyelids is concealed. And then we will set that down with powder. So do not worry. And you can see it just blends very seamlessly. I like to take the end of my Beauty Blender and press up underneath the eyes where the concealer would meet that foundation and really make sure that it's packed down. Again, I love using the Beauty Blender because I just feel like it really pushes that concealer into the skin, whereas the foundation, it kind of moves around with a brush, which is okay. But for concealer, especially under my under eye, I have a lot of fine lines under my under eye, so I really want to make sure that that concealer is pressed down. On a normal day, I will take so much time blending, but again, since we're in a hurry and this is our hurried makeup look, I'm going to move on to setting the face. I always take with me my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder right here. It's in the small travel case, which is awesome for me. So I take it, put a little bit into my lid. I then go in with my Real Techniques setting brush. This is the perfect application for me for under my eyes because the brush is a little small, which is perfect. So I just tap the excess powder off, place this powder right under my under eye, as well as on top to set where that concealer really was. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then what I like to do is take the excess and just lightly dust it over the other places that I put that concealer down, just to really set down the concealer and make sure that it doesn't budge on top of that foundation. I like to use the Laura Mercier powder right up under my eyes, but I actually then go in and set my entire face with this little Hourglass powder. I love this little powder. This is the travel size. I need to go back and purchase the big size because I love it so much. And this is the shade Luminous Light. I like to take my Real Techniques buffing brush that looks like this, dip it into the powder, tap off the excess, and then I just set my entire face with this powder. This powder gives the most beautiful glow from within. It doesn't make your skin too powdery at all. Another really good powder for this is the Charlotte Tilbury powder. I love that one. I have been so into this Hourglass powder lately. It really just gives your skin the most beautiful, beautiful glow. And I think that people get it confused with a highlighter. There is sheen in this, but it's not a highlighting powder. It will not give you that extreme glow highlight if that's what you're looking for right here on the cheekbones. This is just more for setting the entire face. Next, we are going to move on to brows, and I cannot lie, this is my least favorite part when I'm in a hurry because I really love to take my time with my brows, and when I can't do that, it makes me sad. So I use, when I travel, the Precisely My Brow Pencil, and this is in the shade number 2. I love this pencil. I've talked about it in a couple of my favorites. I like for this one to travel with me just because I know that I can get a quick application and I know what it's going to look like. I know that I don't have to work as hard as I normally would with this pencil. It's very easy to use. It's really good for me when I know I have to be somewhere in a hurry. All right, you guys, the brows are done. Again, very subtle, very easy brow, nothing too extensive. We don't have the time for that. So let's go ahead and move on. One thing that is so important that I do that really makes a complete difference in the way my eyes look, I don't have the time to do a full eyeshadow look, so I will bring just a fluffy brush with me. This is the Luxie 227T brush right here. And what I always make sure I do is just pick up a bronzer that I have with me, any bronzer. I like to really swirl them around. So in this case, this is a dual pan bronzer. I like to get a little bit of both, and this has a little bit of shimmer in it, which is awesome. And I really try to place some shadow right here in this inner crease. It really helps to bring the eyes out and make you look more awake, just as a transition shade right here. And that's all we're gonna do, but it really, really does help to give that dimension, to not make it look like you completely just passed on eyes. It really just gives you that little something something that you need in there, and it's so quick. We're done. Next, we're going to move on to the eyes. I will take my lash curler and I will give my eyelashes a couple curls like this, just right to the root of the lash. Right there. You guys, my skin is still flaking off from that facial. I know you're not able to believe it, but if you can see right there in my brow, I'm just noticing that it is flaking like crazy again. What happened to my skin? Not to mention, it is 1 degree outside here in Ohio. 1 degree. My car said 1. I was like, why do I live here? I don't know why I live here, but this is ridiculous. It is so cold outside. I took my dog outside this morning and my nose immediately started running like a faucet. I was like, ah. So after we curl those lashes, I will pick up a mascara. This is one of my go-tos. This is the Benefit Roller Lash Mascara. I love this one because I feel like it really separates my lashes and gets in there and separates everything. Well, at least that happened before I put on my mascara. I always try to give myself quite a bit of mascara, only because that is the one thing that I feel like is key in this makeup look, just because mascara is the one thing that truly makes me look like I am more awake, even if I am not. So one thing I always trust in is bringing a good mascara with me that I know is really going to make my eyes pop. And this mascara is perfect for me because it truthfully doesn't take that many coats to really bring my lashes out. So I love this mascara for that. I don't use this mascara on my bottom lashes because, if you can tell, it does have that curl to it. So I like to use a more straight lash wand on my bottom lashes, but for the top lashes, this mascara is perfect. And I zoomed you guys in a little bit to hope that you can kind of see that. Ignore this scar right here on the side of my nose. I've been noticing that a lot on camera, and I used to have my nose pierced. As much as my mom told me not to get my nose pierced, I went ahead and did it anyway and got left with a nasty scar that I have actually had lasered, like they tried to laser the scar off my nose, and I had it done twice and it totally didn't completely work. So I'm thinking about going back again and trying to get more treatments done. All right, let's move on to that bottom lash. This mascara is the Clinique Lash Doubling Mascara, and this is just a little one. I'm assuming I got it in some sort of trial thing that I had, because it's just a little tiny one. You can see the bottle's really small, but this wand is perfect for those bottom lashes. I love how thin it is. It really is helpful to get in there. I always then just take the same mascara that I use for my bottom lashes and coat those top lashes again, just to make sure we are then good to go. All right, next let's move on to bronzer. Excuse me. Again, this is key to me for really bringing that face alive, giving us a little flush of color. I'm using the same bronzer that I used to apply to my eyelids, And I'm taking a big powder brush. This is the Mr. Right brush by Too Faced. I love this brush a lot. I've talked about it in some other videos before. I'm gonna really get in between both of those, tap the brush off, and just really try to warm up those cheeks. Take a little bit on the forehead as well, just right at that hairline. Bring the excess powder just all over my face to really make sure that we have that nice, warm, bronzy tone all over our face. I'm then going to go in with blush. My favorite blush brush is this Morphe E4 brush. It looks like this. I really like the angled side on this. It makes blush application a dream. I'm going to pick up the Tarte blush that I travel with. This is the Tarte blush in the shade Risque. It goes with every look that I could possibly do, especially when I don't have time. It just creates the most beautiful little flush on our cheeks. I swirl my brush around in it and put it right. Yes, I smile when I'm putting on blush. And I focus it right on the apples of those cheeks. If you smile while putting on that blush, keep away from this area right here. You want your blush to go on top of that. So more so in this area. That's why they say the apples of the cheeks. You don't want to bring in anything too far or too downward. So you want to make sure that your blush is sitting on top of your cheekbones to kind of pull that face forward rather than to bring it down too far down here to make your face look sunken in. I also take that little bit left over and rub it over my nose. You know when you get a burn, I'm not saying burns are a good thing, but when you get like, I should say more of just like that pretty flush of color, sun-kissed look from the sun, you focus it on your cheeks and more so on the bridge of your nose. That's where I like to focus my blush. I think it's so pretty. It turns out great every time. I'm then going to go back into the brush that I used after I cleaned it off a little bit, this Mr. Right brush, and I'm just going to blend everything out to make sure everything is nice and seamless where that bronzer meets our blush. We don't want any harsh lines. You already know that, but we want to make sure that everything is very pretty and blended out. Next, I'm going to go in with one of our favorite parts. You already know we can't forget to highlight the face. I am going to be using my e.l.f. highlighter in the shade Moonlit Pearls, Moonlight Pearls. It is such a beautiful highlighter. It looks like this. So stunning on the skin, and all you need is a little bit. I pick it up on a different Real Techniques setting brush like this. And I really just focus this on the top of my cheekbones right here in this area. You can see it just gives the most gorgeous natural glow. I do make that C-like shape when applying my highlighter and bring it up a little bit over onto the forehead. You can highlight your nose. You can bring a little bit down onto your chin. I like to place a little bit on my chin and a little tiny bit that's left over on my brush on my forehead. I will sometimes highlight right down the middle of my nose because, as you all know, I do not like my nose. So I really don't want to highlight that part of my face if it's not a part that I love, you know. When you're putting highlighter somewhere, it is really going to draw attention to that area, and I do not want to draw attention to my nose, so I try to avoid highlighting the nose, okay? I love the way nose highlight looks on some people. It looks amazing with people that have like adorable little noses. That is not the case for me, so I like to avoid that area. And after that, you guys, I make sure that I pop on a little bit of gloss. Anything that you want to use, really, whatever your go-to gloss is. I am going to use the Sweet Peach Creamy Peach Oil Lip Gloss, and this is in the shade Peach Fuzz. I love these glosses. I think that they're so beautiful. They're very natural. They smell amazing as well. This is one of my favorite glosses that I reach for, especially while I'm traveling. And then the last thing that we do is set our face. This is the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix. This is my little tiny travel bottle. This is what I take with me. And that is it, you guys. This is my really fast, simple makeup tutorial that I do. I don't want to say every day because there are days, of course, that I like to go more full glam. I like to do fake lashes. I like to do winged liner. But just day to day, I'm going out to the grocery store. I'm going to run errands. I'm running to the mall, but you don't want to do a full glam look. This is the look that I go to. It's very natural, very wide-eyed. That little bit of highlight to really make us look put together. The bronzer really brings life to the skin. I love the crisp, natural look that's not too much. That's very wearable. Like I said, you can do this for school. You can do this for whatever you want. This is my personal way that I do my makeup as I'm traveling, because like I said, I might get in somewhere at midnight and have a 6 o'clock call time, so I don't really want to take the extra hour or so to get up and do my makeup. So this is what I do, and to be honest, it's worked great for me so far. I often get compliments on my makeup, which is amazing, because half the time I'm sitting there like, oh honey, if you only knew that this took me about 20 minutes to throw on, you would be shocked. So this is just something that I love to do. You guys can always use some of these tips and tricks and use what I do and add to it. You know, throw on that winged liner, put a little liner underneath. Sometimes I will do a little liner underneath my eye, only about halfway. I have very small hooded eyes, so that really helps to brighten my eyes and bring my eyes to life. You could add falsies to this look. You could go a little bit more natural. You could only spot conceal, something that I do. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I'm gonna zoom you in a little so you can see what the skin looks like. I'm a little shiny from the setting spray still. And yeah, you guys, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I'm so happy that I have my ring light sitting in here. I can't get it to set up right within my camera, so it is literally just sitting next to my camera. But we'll figure that out later. Thank you guys so much for watching. If no one has told you yet today, you are beautiful, you are amazing, and you can do whatever it is that you set your mind to. If you have a dream, work for it. The time will pass anyway. Just keep going for it. Keep doing you. Stay true to yourself. Stay true to your family. And yeah, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this holiday season, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!